Man, sneakers in 2025, I can tell you there have been some absolute bangers, but also there have been some just absolute disasters. So with that being said, let's go ahead and walk through some of the best and worst kicks of the year. And with that being said, I'm just gonna go ahead and give you guys this info so you guys know what you guys can go ahead and buy and what to avoid. So with that being said, quick disclaimer, you guys, this is gonna be a little personal commentary, you guys. This is gonna be my own personal opinions on these sneakers. But with that being said, let's go ahead and hop straight into this tier list. And with that being said, just like every other tier list that I do on my channel, this is going to be from the one and only tier list maker. And if you guys are new to the channel, my name is Double A. I do tier lists, I do top 10 lists, I do sneaker reviews, basically anything in the sneaker world. So that is in your realm and you love that type of content, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. But with that being said, let's go ahead and hop straight into it. And as you guys can see from my screen, this is a sneaker tier list. Now, this was last modified in March, you guys, so this is pretty recent. This video is being filmed April 3rd. So with that being said, this is pretty recent, and we got an S tier, we got an A tier, a B tier, a C tier, a D tier, E tier, and an F tier. But with that being said, here are the sneakers we have. Not too many sneakers available, but with that being said, this is gonna be a real quick, real simple video. And with that being said, before we go ahead and start off, I do want you guys to leave a comment down below and let me know what is your best and worst sneaker in the comment section. With that being said, we're gonna start this off. Of course, I did at the end of the day make this list. Someone else did modify it and make it. But with that being said, we're gonna see what they have in store for us. And to be honest, I see a couple of sneakers that I recognize. I see the DN8s. I see Dior sneakers. I see, I believe this is the Jumpman collab, if you guys can see my mouse cursor. But with that being said, we got a couple of good sneakers. I'm gonna start from the top. I'm just gonna work our way down. So with that being said, first sneaker, I believe this is an Air Force One. If I had to say what sneaker it is, this is an Air Force One. I think it's a mid, not a high. But regardless, this is gonna be a low tier. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I am not messing with a mid or high Air Force One. I'm definitely more of an Air Force One low type of dude. I got the black and the white pair. But with that being said, I don't even like the colorway, to be honest. But we're gonna be a little sparing. I'm not gonna lie. We're gonna put this at the C tier, just because I'm not really too sure how this list is gonna go. So I'm gonna kind of work my way through it. And if I feel a certain sneaker should be a little lower or higher than it currently is, then I'll go ahead and move it accordingly. But next, we got a pair of Crocs. Crocs, now I do wear Crocs basically on an everyday basis. Crocs definitely got to be S tier, and that's not even no glaze. I just be wearing Crocs on an everyday lifestyle type of situation, and it's just one of those like essentials. With that being said, if you don't have a pair of Crocs and you're still wearing slides in 2025, I just got to put you on. Crocs are fire. You can put them in sports mode whenever you need to get active, and yeah, they're just pretty comfortable, and it's just an easy slip and go type of footwear. These right here, I'm not gonna lie, I don't even know what they are, and that was one of the reasons why I was skeptical on using this list. But for that simple fact, I wish they would use a better picture. And matter of fact, so you guys can see a little better, I'm gonna zoom in. That's a little too much, but I'm gonna zoom in so the pictures are a little more visible. But with that being said, these look like they have to be some type of slides. It don't look like an actual sneaker, at least to me. But with that being said, since I don't even know what this is, I'll put it at the E tier, not F. But next shoe we got is a pair of Nikes. These I haven't seen in 2025, I just gotta be honest. But with that being said, it seems like a cool sneaker, so I'll leave it in the B tier. It is a little better than Air Force One. We got a pair of Uggs. I never owned a pair of Uggs, but I can't lie, I am very intrigued to try one. I'm not gonna lie, they seem very comfortable, very cozy, especially for this type of weather. But with that being said, as far as a best and worst sneaker, this would have to meet me in the middle, just because I gotta try it on first, for sure. We got a pair of Yeezys. I've never really been a big Yeezy fan, and I don't really like highs too much. I'm gonna leave that in the D category. We got a pair of Nike Air Force Ones, but these are the Supreme ones. So with that being said, I'm not too sure if Supreme is really going in 2025. But with that being said, if I am rating this on my personal preference, these, I'm not gonna lie, since they are low and I do love me a pair of Air Force Ones, I'm definitely gonna put these in the A tier, you guys. I feel like Air Force Ones is gonna be one of those go-to sneakers that is always gonna be one of those classics, and is gonna be a fan favorite for sure. So I'm definitely an advocate for the Air Force Ones. We got a pair of Air Maxes. I've seen these in 2025, and I like the colorway. I put this in the B tier, very smooth. We got a pair of, I believe, Air Max 95s. The colorway is pretty calm. I'm not gonna lie, I put this in the B tier, just like that other Air Max. We got another pair of Nikes. I'm not really messing with the overall style and the build. But yeah, I'll put this in the D tier. We got a pair of Vans with flowers on them. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know how I feel about the flowers on the Vans, and I don't really wear Vans too much anymore. So for those two simple facts, I'm gonna leave them in the E tier. And then now we got another pair of Nikes. We got a blue pair of Nikes. I'm not really an advocate for these either. I'll put these in the E tier. We got another pair of Nikes. Put those in the E tier. Now, one of the sneakers that I was actually starstruck that is in this list is a pair of DCs. You guys, let me know if you guys have seen anybody in 2025 wear or rock a pair of DCs. Matter of fact, in the whole, since 2020, I haven't seen a pair of DCs. So for that simple fact, I think we do have our first F tier sneaker. So I'm for sure putting these in the F tier. I just don't know what they were thinking putting this list. I don't know if they were trolling. That could have been a fact. But looking at these, they look like a pair of Nikes, but they have like that little straight arrow, if y'all can see that. I've never seen this shoe before in my life. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. But I'm kind of rocking with it, but it's not like the dopest sneaker in the world. So I'll put that in the C tier. We got a pair of Yeezys. Now, I've seen these a lot in 2024-ish. It's not really my type of, I don't know if you call it a slide or a shoe per se. But then again, I haven't tried it on. So I just off looks and Yeezy itself, I'm gonna definitely go ahead and put these in the C category. We got a pair of Dunks. Now, I feel like Dunks fell off heavily. I mean, you'll see a couple Dunks here and there, but I don't feel like they're as prominent as they were before. But also taking into account my own liking of the Dunks, I feel like they're super versatile. I literally just complimented someone on their Dunks the other day, matter of fact. But yeah, Dunks, I feel like they're very calm and collected and they're very versatile. I'll go ahead and put them in the A tier because I ain't really for the trends. I ain't gonna lie. If I like a shoe, I'm definitely gonna stand on it, and it's not gonna deter me from a shoe if it's not trending. So with that being said, next one we got a pair of Dior's. These Dior's, I feel like we used to see a lot earlier in the days. I'm not really a hype beast, so I wouldn't say that I would put this in a high rating because it is like a hype sneaker, I guess you would call it. But these Dior's right here have to be in a nice spot. I'm not gonna lie, you guys. I'll put them in the A tier just because I love the overall color scheme. Even though I'm not really too much of an Air Jordan 1 type of dude. Yeah, I do love Dior. Dior is definitely a great brand, and I just love Dior. With that being said, I believe these are a pair of DN8s, and I've been seeing a lot of DN8s drop in 2025. And if you don't know, I do a lot of sneaker release videos every Sunday on my channel. So that being said, if you are interested in sneaker releases, go ahead and hit that post notification bell on my channel for those weekly updates. But with that being said, these DN8s are pretty hard. I love the color scheme, so I definitely will be putting those in the B category. Another pair of Nikes, I'm not really sure what these are, and I don't really like the overall build. I'll put those in the E. Another pair of Nikes, I don't like this one. I'll probably put down the E2. New Balances, I feel like these are the 530s, but I do not want to get it wrong. But I hate, and I know hate is a strong word, but I do not like how these New Balances look. I feel like they look very outdated. I feel like they look very like a chunky old dad sneaker type of vibe. Y'all let me know how y'all feeling. But this is gonna be an F tier. Now, I've seen this orange sneaker a lot in the sneaker tier list when I was actually looking for this video. Y'all let me know if y'all know what these are down below in the comment section. But yeah, I actually haven't seen these, concerning I actually do a lot of sneaker release videos. Maybe they were released in the past and I just didn't get put onto these. But I can't even tell whether they're a Nike or not. They kind of look like they would be a Nike. But just because I don't know what they are, I'll put them in the C category. We got a pair of Yeezys. I love the overall vibe and the color of these Yeezys, so I'll put them in the B category. We got a pair of New Balance 9060s. I did have a chance to have these on my feet, and they are a very comfortable pair. I'm not gonna lie, you've seen these a lot in 2024. At least I did a lot. I used to go out and do some public interviews, and I used to see people having them on their feet, even when out at restaurants and things of that nature. But these New Balance 9060s for sure are going to be an A tier just because of their comfortability, price range, and it's just overall a very solid sneaker. We got a pair of Asics. I've seen these a lot too, coming across all these different lists, And these Asics will be going in that. The color is kind of throwing me off, y'all. I'll leave it in the C category just because the color is kind of throwing me off. But with that being said, we're gonna leave that there for now. We got a pair of Nikes, I believe these are. I'm not really sure what they are, so for that simple fact, I'm gonna leave them in the C category. I believe these brown shoes are Travis Scott collabs, because I believe I had seen a Jumpman Jack that kind of had the same build as this. But these overall, they calm and collected. I'll put them in that B category because it's kind of mid. It's not really doing too much. We got a pair of Reeboks. I've never really been into Reeboks, so I'll go ahead and put them in that D category. We got a pair of Nikes right here. These give me very vintage vibes, like older vibes. And it's not really my style, so I'll put them in the D category. These three right here that I'm looking at look like some designers that I have never seen. I'm not gonna cap, so I'm gonna go ahead and put these all in the C category. But as far as the next one, if y'all can see right here, this looks like a pair of Drake's Nocta shoes. And I don't know how I feel about these shoes. They're very love-hate relationship. They're very simple and versatile, which is what I kind of like about them. But then again, it's not really a shoe that I would look at and kind of be like, oh, I want those shoes. So for that simple fact, it just kind of is a regular mid shoe to me. So for that simple fact, I'll put them in the B category. These are a pair of Balenciagas. Balenciagas have been around and been trending for a little minute. For me too, I definitely would go ahead and cop me a pair. And these are very versatile, so I'll go ahead and put them in the A category. Matter of fact, I don't want to put them too high. Or do I? I'll leave them in A. I'll leave them A. They're a cool sneaker. The Campus Double Zeros. Campus Double Zeros will definitely be going in that B category. Very versatile. You got a lot of different colorways for a great price point. Not sure if these are the Gazelles or the Sambas, but I believe they're Gazelles. So because they're Gazelles, I'd put them in the same category as the Campus. We got a pair of Nikes that I'm not sure what they are, so I'll put them in that C category. We got a pair of Balenciagas. Another pair of Balencis. I ain't gonna lie, I'm very big on Balenciaga, you guys. I can't wait to get me my first cop, but I'm put them in the A category just because they are very solid and they remind me of the other ones that I just put in A category. So we got a pair of Fives. I've never really been a Fives fan, but since it is in my favorite color, I'll go ahead and put them in the C category. I would have put them in D because I feel like they wouldn't be a good sneaker on me. But with that being said, that's where we're gonna leave it at that. We got a pair of, I'm not even sure what these are, but they have that interesting flower design. I'll put them in that C category just because I don't even know what they are. We got a pair of, dang, I feel like that name is like in my head. I don't know what these are, but I know they're Nikes, and this is a Supreme collab. And since it is also in a great versatile color, I'll put them in the A category. We got a pair of Supreme Nikes. Now these kind of give me that old vibe. So I'll go ahead and put them in C. We got a pair of Lavin sneakers. I know those were big at one point, but they are very thick. Do I think these look good on me? I'm not too sure because I never put them on my feet, but they seem very smooth, very calm, and it is Supreme collab, so I just leave them in the C. We got these. I'm not even sure what they are, you guys, so I'll leave them in C. And then we got these. I want to say they're Mason Maharas, but I'm not really too sure. So because of that simple fact, I'll put them in that C category. But with that being said, this is a real quick and simple list. I think I'm gonna leave everything where it's at because I feel like I'm pretty sure on the spots that I put. Again, this list was kind of based on what I feel and what I like, and also a little bit based on like what's coming out this year and what people are rocking with. But with that being said, if you do rock with this list, go ahead and let me know. Give me your comments down below in the comment section. Let me know which sneakers you would have put in a different spot. And with that being said, you guys, if you guys do want to see some more sneaker tier lists, maybe some on some sneakers based on aura, maybe some based on budget, go ahead and just check out my playlist right here. See you there.